Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now, if you're into the crypto space, you know the craziness that's happening right now. It's really crazy. Look at the prices and what's going on. But I'm here to tell you today that this is the time where the opportunities are best found. So guys, if you're interested in learning what's going on in the crypto space and where you can find the opportunities, stay tuned for the whole video and watch the whole thing, guys. Now, first of all, what you see right here, this a few days ago was one of the biggest exchanges in the world, but look at one of the banners that you see on the exchanges when you go there. FTX is currently unable to process withdrawals. We strongly advise against depositing funds onto this exchange, guys. Now, we're going to talk about how this is tantamount to the Mt. Gox exchange, which was way back in the early days of cryptocurrency. That exchange was trading 70% of all the Bitcoin in the world, and all of a sudden it's just vanished. But guess what? There was a lot of fear back then, but that's where the opportunities were found, and that is the point of today's video, guys. Now you find I've done already 2 videos covering this scenario, what's happening between Binance. It started with the Binance exposing FTX. It started off with them threatening to sell a bunch of FTX tokens that were worth over $580 million. And that in turn created ripple effects that exposed all the bad behavior that was being performed by FTX. Now guys, first of all, let's check out this video of Sam Bankman-Fried, the CEO of FTX Exchange, talking to the regulators and telling them how the financial crisis of 2008 was sparked off by bad behavior, the same bad behavior that has led us in the situation we're in today. So guys, enjoy.
Last thing that I'll say is if you look at what precipitated some of the 2008 financial crisis, you saw a number of bilateral, bespoke, non-reported transactions happening between financial counterparties, which then got repackaged and re-leveraged again and again and again, such that no one knew how much risk was in that system until it all fell apart. If you compare that to what happens on FTX or other major cryptocurrency venues today, there's complete transparency about the full open interest. There's complete transparency about the positions that are held. There's a robust, consistent risk framework applied, and we're excited to work with the CFTC on our U.S. licensed and regulated venue to bring a lot of this.
So you see, guys, magic money being flipped around, trades that are not transparent, exactly the things Sam Bankman-Fried was talking about. I'm not here to demonize anything. I'm here stating the facts. Those are the same reasons we're in the trouble that we're in today. You know, we're in the trouble that we're in today because of those same practices that they knew about. Those are the same practices they deployed that have led to the destruction of billions of dollars in the cryptocurrency space. People's savings wiped out. Now remember, this is the second phase of the bear market. The first phase wiped out billions, DeFi, over-leveraged companies, and now this is the second phase. Now, Alameda Research, one of the sort of venture capital firms of the FTX exchange, Alameda Research FTT token transfer from September fuels wild speculations. According to on-chain data, FTT token supply increased by 124.3% on September of 28th when 173 million FTT tokens were created by a 2019 ICO contract, and Alameda was the recipient. So guys, these guys created tokens out of thin air. Inflated the token supply by 124%, which at the current price, at the time, it was $173 million worth of those tokens. Now guys, that's horrible behavior, and any company should know better than to do things like that. Now this is the state of the cryptocurrency space, but if you're a trader out there, guess what? The market has been demolished. The FTT token itself is now $2.8 from, I think at some point it was like $79 or something like that, and now it has crashed, obviously because they were greedy. It has led them to this point, but also a lot of other tokens have been crushed, which is not necessarily a bad thing because it's weeding out all the bad practices that were starting to brew up in the bear market. All the bad practices that are generally starting to brew up, it's all being weeded out. But for the trader out there that's smart, though a lot of people have been demolished, hey, there's been a little tick up in the market, and I'm sure a lot of people have already made profits because they've realized it's probably the bottom, might be the bottom. We understand all the bad news that has come out. Maybe it's time for me to actually seize this opportunity and buy back some of these things while they're on sale the way they are. Now, guys, it's what I'm saying is not new. Historically, we've seen companies like Disney way back in 1929, other companies. It's all about resilience and seeing where the opportunity is. Warby Parker, Revlon, General Electric, MTV, Sports Illustrated, Microsoft, Trader Joe's, Airbnb, Netflix. You can go and research others like Team Logic, Netflix, Citigroup, Lego. Citigroup from the 2008 collapse, the mortgage crisis where these banks were mortgaging all kinds of house prices at different levels, AAA rating, triple B rating of houses that were not actually supposed to be to that level, selling houses to people that don't even have the money to do that, and that greed led us to the recession that we saw in 2018. So many of these companies, Lego, Groupon, MailChimp, I'm sure you've heard of most of these companies, WhatsApp, you can go do a simple Google search and you see all these, even podcasts like the Joe Rogan podcast, Okta, Airbnb, General Electric. We've seen some of these. Many companies were built out of these sort of very fearful situations. That's why you've seen very famous traders tell us that, hey, in terms of fear in the market, that's where you're supposed to be the greediest, because either as an investor, that's when you're supposed to do your research, constantly do your research and invest in these companies that you think are innovating or are having some of the most impactful, potentially the most impactful innovations. And if you're a builder, this is the time to build. This is the time to really get out there and build your product. Search for problems and really bring out your solution in a massive way. Now, I can give you some examples. Ethereum really innovated smart contracts. I'm not saying Ethereum is going to be successful, but even the market turmoil we're seeing right now has made Ethereum indeed deflationary, which is a very positive thing for the Ethereum network. We have Cosmos, which is fronting the interoperability, or ICS. Now, I'm talking about altcoins because right now everyone's saying, hey, everything else is crap, so Bitcoin is the only one. Guys, that's not how you find opportunities. Yes, Bitcoin is on sale, and if you have the money, if you have the conviction, yes, probably you should capture up some Bitcoin, especially if you're an institution, an individual with a bunch of cash lying around. I think it's a great opportunity given the current state of the market. These things are on sale. This is not investment advice, guys. This is just sort of reading the fear, buying based on fear. Do not buy based on emotions. Buy based on other people's emotions, not your own emotions. In other words, do not sell your holdings right now. It's not a very good, that's not the best way to approach things. Do not do something you haven't planned for, you didn't plan for, right? So that is the advice, but not rather investment advice. So I'm just giving an example. I just picked up, out of my head, I just picked up a couple of random altcoins and the innovations. Like, for example, you look at the Cosmos, there's IBC and interchain security. That would probably be a big thing, especially if we go into Internet of Things, economy of things, because you need to establish security, you need to have interoperability standards. And then Binance itself has helped a lot of when you look at innovation in the cryptocurrency space, it also helped many cryptocurrency companies start up and be the juggernauts that they are today. Just like Ethereum helped through the ICO, it helped to fund a lot of companies that are massive today. XRP, I might talk about cryptocurrencies that you might not like today, but I'm not saying that I invested in them or I'm interested in them. I'm just saying things the way they are. XRP, the SEC has been chasing after these guys for so many years, but really they've been trying to chase after global remittances. And we know some of the companies like Netflix and some other companies, the way they continued generating money was expanding into other markets while the US was having its turmoil. For example, into the European market and other markets. That's where they were able to capture that market share and grow massive revenue. Once the US had settled down, they came back into the market and they came back as massive juggernauts. So same thing with XRP. These guys are expanding. The repo companies expanding into other markets. Dogecoin, you may not like them, but they brought the meme and fun into the cryptocurrency space. DAI, we're looking at decentralized stablecoins in this space. Monero, still the juggernaut, still the leader in privacy in cryptocurrency. We have others that are like the Trust Wallet. It's a bit of a underdog. It's a bit of a secret. It was acquired by the Binance Exchange, but the token, if you look at the token as being one of the best sort of store of values in amongst everything. It started off at 7 cents. Right now in the depths of the bear market, it's still $1, or at least maybe close to that. That's pretty impressive, and not too many people know about this. Evmos is bridging the EVM side to the Cosmos side. It's doing a great job at that. There's Axilla, which is bridging everything to everything. If you do not know about Axilla, I'm not saying invest in the tokens. Go out there and look at the technologies of these companies and look at the innovations. In other words, the problems they're trying to solve. And that is the point of today's video. Mana, which is the metaverse token of one of the first, essentially, metaverse in the space of decentralized metaverse, or should I call it virtual world. The Mana token serves as an economic, framework or driver in this space. It's the money, it's the voting power. On top of that, you can use that to buy land and real estate. You can create all these wearables that your character can wear in this metaverse. It's amazing. It's crazy what's happening out there. There's always economic activity happening. Aave, Compound, PancakeSwap, all these DeFi platforms that are still existing. Nothing has happened to them. There's still a lot of value locked into these DeFi platforms because they're disciplined in the way they do their things. Chainlink, guys, I mentioned some tokens like Filecoin that are leading all these NFTs. Basically, it's the habitat of all these NFTs. They're habiting all that meta information that points you to whatever particular NFT. Chainlink is leading in the Oracle space. Library also being disturbed by the SEC, but they're really leading in the decentralized content production and storage of data, that kind of thing. We have companies like Fetch.ai. We don't know if they'll make it, but they're leading in these things called multi-agent systems and autonomous economic agents. So they're trying to innovate manufacturing, supply chains, things like that. Ocean Protocol in machine learning now, guys. Pick and choose whatever altcoin or whatever ecosystem you're interested in. There's a lot of innovation going on in this space, and that's where you find the opportunities, guys. Now, if you look at Sam Bankman-Friedman's Twitter, you see Justin, he tweeted something from Justin Sun saying that, hey, if you're a holder of BitTrue tokens or BTT tokens, the Just tokens, the Sun tokens, HT, and all other kinds of, stuff spouted by Justin Sun, they're saying, hey, we'll find a way of making sure you recover your tokens. Guys, this is not any kind of advice. I don't know if this will happen, but if you're a holder of any of these tokens, I guess that's something you can latch on to. That's a bit of good news. Whether it's a publicity stunt or not, it's something good. Now, if you're paying attention to this space a few days ago, Sam Bankman-Fried, there was this conversation, they tweeted out this conversation, both CZ Binance, the CEO of the Binance Exchange, and the CEO of the FTX exchange, that they were in conversation, they were in talks to actually have some of their assets acquired. And guess what? Later on, we found out that FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried has vanished from the Bloomberg Billionaires Index after an estimated personal wealth plummeted nearly 94% to 900 from, I guess it dropped from $15 billion to still a lot of money, but still less than $1 billion. But that's not just it. We're going to see some of these things that disturbed these stocks that they were in with Binance, because there were rumors that Binance was going to acquire these guys, but there's something that stopped this. Now look at this. Binance pulls out of the deal to acquire rival crypto exchange FTX. The rapid collapse of FTX, built by billionaire Sam Bankman-Fried, suggests that no company in the freewheeling, loosely regulated crypto industry is actually safe. Guys, this was rising up to quickly be the top or the second biggest exchange in the world, but it crashed. Now, check this out. This was quite unfortunate, should I say. So while the size of the hole, in other words, looking into the books of this exchange is the reason Binance backed out of this deal, looking into how deep this hole is, the financial hole that these guys have dug themselves into, while the size of the hole of FTX balance sheet will ultimately depend on the amount that customers were able to withdraw, it could be as much as $8 billion, guys. In other words, this company is, I think, I saw somewhere it's valued currently at $1. For good reason. If you buy this company at $1, you have to clear off these balance sheets over $8 billion, according to a person familiar with the figures who was not authorized to discuss. Now, of course, as a result of that, after Binance looking into these balance sheets, They tweeted this out. As a result of corporate due diligence, as well as the latest news reports regarding mishandled customer funds and alleged US agency investigation, we've decided that we will not pursue the potential acquisition of FTX.com, guys. Of course, they don't want to end up getting in trouble. You know, a lot of money is owed to a lot of people, and we're seeing some of the bad practices, like millions of FTX tokens minted out of thin air and then given to Alameda Finance, which was the venture capital arm of the FTX exchange, to bail them out of some other, I guess, bad dealings they were involved in. Now, what's even unfortunate, there's a venture capital firm which is known as Sequoia Capital. Here is the quote we sent out to our liquidity providers in GGFIII regarding the FTX. I don't know what that means, but in other words, they had invested a couple of money in FTX, and guess what? To summarize their report, their investment is zero, guys. Now, they talk about this report and they say, some investments don't work out. Some surprise you upwards, some surprise you downwards. This happens. They did a lot of research. FTX had generated a lot of revenue, a lot of income. So they looked like a good bet to bet on or to invest in. So you can't really blame them, but everything crashed. Now, they seem to say that they're not too affected by what's going on and they're trying to be careful. I guess they're trying to be careful so that they don't get washed out. But if you look deeper into this article, into whatever the news that's being published out there, look at this. Sequoia Capital marks down an entire $214 million FTX stake to zero. So this stake that they're sort of saying may not be that significant or is not affecting them, guys. It's over $200 million. That's extremely unfortunate. Now, this is where, the cowards start to run away. So venture.ftx.com, which is a venture farm of ftx.com, their website is gone, guys. Gone. If you look at Alameda Research, the guys that FTX bailed out, their website was active not too long ago. It's gone. You have to log in now if you're the one running the website, to actually have access to it. It's no longer accessible. This is the CEO of Caroline, the CEO of the venture capital firm Alameda Research. No tweet from her, but the last tweets, you have to remember, Sam Bankman-Fried tweeted out that they had capital that they could use to reimburse all the investors. He deleted that tweet, so which means that wasn't a good sign. But she, however, hasn't deleted this tweet, but it doesn't seem like there's much truth into it. This was tweeted out November 6th. There's not been any new information since then. A few notes on the balance sheet info that has been circulating recently. That specific balance sheet is for a subset of our corporate entities. We have more than $10 billion of assets that aren't reflected there, according to her. That's her words. Guys, remember, this is cryptocurrency. Even if you had that kind of stuff, if the market tanks the way it tanks, some of these assets are locked up, maybe through staking, through other sort of contracts. You can't sell them. So when the markets tank, this balance sheet is also going to go down, especially as investors pull out. She went ahead to say the balance sheet breaks out a few of our biggest long positions. We obviously have hedges that aren't listed. Given the tightening of the crypto credit space this year, we've returned most of our loans by now. Those are her words, but clearly Binance, on looking into the books, they were not satisfied and they backed out from this one, especially now that they're being investigated by the regulators. Now, I brought this up just as an example. Some of the biggest centralized DeFi platforms, it's because they're getting these decentralized tokens and lending them and paying you back and telling you, hey, they're using your capital properly. The first phase of the sort of market crash was further accelerated by some of these platforms that were over leveraged. Now, this is 3RS Capital, a very infamous farm that is very much attributed to the downturn of the market, to the acceleration of the downturn of the market. These were other players that were weirded out by the bear market. These guys, well, their website is still active, but I guess not too many people are participating with them. One of the other biggest sort of these centralized farms, Voyager, their website gone. Celsius, which was pretty much the most touted, the king of this sort of lending and borrowing in a centralized way, their website gone. Their CEO retired. All these people are, I don't know where they are. Now, what's shameful is that FTX Sam Bankman-Fried, seen as one of the richest people, FTX exchange really quickly arising, being in bed with all these regulators, all these politicians, lobbying politicians, being in the same seats with different people. I won't name names, but all this is publicly available information, with presidents, with big investors, known investors out there. They're being compared to Mt. Gox, which is historically the biggest exchange collapse in the world. FTX exchange being one of the newest touted exchanges out there as a massive new competitor out there, is being compared to Mt. Gox collapse, guys. That's why you're seeing the second phase of the bear market being accelerated. When you click on the Mt. Gox exchange, all you see is this, because it was based off Japan, so all you see is this. This has been over 10 years in the making, guys, probably over 12 years. Please refer to the Notice of Amendment of Rehabilitation Plan becoming final and binding, and also other things. Please refer to the information on the launch of the function, whatever. So that's all you see, guys. That's such a shame. Also, the other thing is, these events that are happening in cryptocurrency space right now, they're being also compared to the Lehman Brothers, which caused the 2008 crash. The Lehman Brothers Holdings, Inc. was an American global financial services firm founded in 1847 before filing for bankruptcy in 2008. Lehman was the fourth largest investment bank in the United States with about 25,000 employees worldwide. So notice these entities no longer exist. All those jobs gone, just like Facebook just fired 11,000 of its employees. Very unfortunate. Also Twitter, I guess, laying off, but that's not the point. So in other words, this situation is being compared to the Lehman Brothers situation, and Sam Bankman-Fried, once the renowned youngest billionaire in the cryptocurrency space on the Forbes list and so on, is now being compared to Bernie Madoff. Those that do not know Bernie Lawrence Madoff was an American fraudster. Unfortunately, the guy passed away in 2021. RIP. So Bernie Lawrence Madoff was an American fraudster and financier who ran the largest Ponzi scheme in history, worth about $64.8 billion. He was at one time chairman of the Nasdaq Stock Exchange and so on. So we see that also FTX exchange, I think at some point at the height of its success, was valued at about 32 point something billion dollars on a Series C funding. So you can see how these sort of comparisons arise and how we get them. But guys, as a last note, the whole point of today's video is that no matter how bad the markets get, do not do things you're not planned out to do. One thing as I can advise you to do is that continue doing your research, continue looking up for teams that are working hard and that are innovating in the space in ways that we haven't seen before. Continue looking out for teams that are solving problems that you can clearly see these are problems, and these teams are trying to develop solutions to these problems. And that's where you'll find the greatest opportunities through these downturns. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.